Welcome to another edition of INN CEO Talks. Joining me today is Jessup, the CEO and director of Magna Mining, which trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol NICU. Magna Mining is a Sudbury-focused base metal exploration and development company. The company was founded in 2016, and then in early 2017 it acquired Ursa Major Minerals, which was a private company that owned the Shakespeare Mine, which is a past producing and permitted site. The Shakespeare Mine is located about 70 kilometers southwest of the Sudbury Basin. And since acquiring the site, Magna has now assembled more than 180 square kilometers of contiguous and underexplored property, which is believed to be prospective for further discoveries of nickel, copper, and PGM mineralization. Joining me now is CEO Jessup. Jason, welcome. You just released drill results for the first 2 drill holes at the Shakespeare Project, and I know that you're encouraged by these results. What do they tell you?
Well, thanks, Stuart. Yeah, we're very encouraged by the results of our first 2 holes. Hole 2115 especially. This was a hole that's testing a part of our gap zone, and by the gap zone, I'm referring to an area that historically was believed to be unmineralized and separated the deposit from the east deposit. And in 2018, we did some drilling and were able to define some mineralization extending from the east deposit under of the west deposit, and thereby showing that there was mineralization in this gap zone area. So the drilling we're doing right now is a follow-up on that 2018 program. And again, we're very encouraged by the results of these initial 2 holes. We drilled 6 holes in that area already, still waiting on 4 additional holes for assays to return. But hole 2115, we were expecting to intersect 10 to 15 meters of nickel copper PGM mineralization and receive the assay results. We had 33.8 meters of nickel copper PGM mineralization, good grade, near resource grades, definitely within the resource, open pit resource shell, and extending outside of it. So this is very positive and close to surface. This could have is it could allow us to, in future resource updates, add additional resources in this gap zone area, and potentially have one resource open pit shell contain all of the open pit resource, as opposed to now where it would be in 2 separate pit shells. So this could have very positive impacts on the economics of the future project.
So where do you go from here? What's the next stages in confirming this, that would be the direction that you're going to go in?
Yeah, so we'll get our assay results back from the other holes that we've drilled in this area. And once we've had those, we'll analyze the results, determine if we need additional drilling in this area to better understand the geology and the mineralization. And then this will feed in future resource update down the road once we've completed our 9,000 meter drill program, and depending on results, possibly additional drill on that. But it is quite positive, and it is something we're modeling and studying as we get results in and as we get the drill holes logged.
So these drill results sort of come fast on the heels of your announcement not too long ago that you had acquired 8 patented claims in the region. What do these claims do to enhance your position with the Shakespeare property?
Yes, we're quite pleased to have closed that acquisition. And one of our strategies at Shakespeare was obviously to expand the existing resources at Shakespeare, at the mine itself. And we're currently, underway doing that. Another part of the strategy for Shakespeare is to acquire additional properties that have synergies with our Shakespeare permits that project has. We have the ability to build a 4,500 ton per day mill in the area or on our project. And so additional properties or deposits that we can find in the area that could provide future feed for that mill could obviously have advantages. So our Baldwin patents that earlier in June fit this description of a strategic position. This was a property that was explored. There was nickel and gold mineralization identified in the 1950s. But since 1960, there's been no exploration or no reported exploration on any of these patent claims. They're a company that weren't doing anything with them for a long time, a large company, and it was non-core to them. And we were quite fortunate to the Baldwin Township, along where these patented claims are, and extending for another 2 kilometers on our property, is well mineralized with chalcopyrite and gold mineralization, and it's been recognized in a number of surface showings, as well as on these patented claim historic drilling. And we've sampled areas as high as 7% copper and a gram of gold on surface in some of these on this. So it is a highly prospective area for copper mineralization. And as you're aware, the price of copper is doing quite well right now, and it's one of the we are focusing on with our Shakespeare project. So it could be a great fit if we can define a resource that potentially could someday go into a mill at Shakespeare. So it is it's quite good. It's in line with our strategy, and it shows that we can continue to find what we believe would be acquisitions in vicinity of the project that have synergies with our Shakespeare project and permits.
Yeah, you mentioned the price of copper, which is just a little off of its all-time high right now, and nickel appears to be on the rise. And you're also focused on PGM minerals as well. This is encouraging news in the way that the market is going on those metal prices, isn't it?
Absolutely. And when we acquired the Shakespeare project, a time when nickel and copper were in lows, nickel was probably around $4 a pound. I've worked in the mining industry for over 25 years now and been in Sudbury. I live in Sudbury where the project's located for the last 20 years and worked in the nickel industry for most of that time. So I understand the cyclical nature and especially. So we had a view that, in the next 5 years from the time we acquired it, that we would get a run in the price of nickel. One of the things that we saw, and this is perhaps local, but I believe it's also global, was during the 2010 to 2020 period, the nickel projects were dramatically capitalized, and there wasn't enough exploration as well as development being put in to extend on life of mine and develop new mines. And that time will catch up. Now we're starting to see strong demand for nickel, and it looks like future demand from batteries powering electric vehicles will continue to grow the demand, especially for Class 1 nickel. And our project is a sulfide nickel project and would produce Class 1 nickel like the other mines here in Sudbury. So it is very positive. We're seeing a lot of infrastructure spending, and has been announced in the U.S. They want to win the EV race, and with that, they're going to have to spend a lot of money. There'll be a lot of development, and they'll be sourcing copper from friendly allied sources such as Canada. So we think we're very well positioned to take advantage of the demand and the growth, the North American EV market, as well as globally.
Well, I think that's important points because, as you point out, the electrification of transportation and the United States wanting to make sure that it has secure and friendly access to resources is going to be very important. So it puts you in a very interesting position, especially as you continue to get information and results from your drill program. Your position continues to improve. What is your long-term goal here? Do you envision building this out, or can you see vending into a major?
And that's my background is in mining operations. I've worked for 2 of the companies here in Sudbury, including FNX Mining, where we were very successful at exploring find assets and then bringing them into commercial production and producing. So my background is in mining. So we believe we have assembled a team that can both make discoveries and build mines and operate them. So we definitely have a view in 3 to 5 years of being a multi-mine producer. So we don't believe that Shakespeare is the only asset that we could bring into production in the future. We believe we can make other discoveries or accretive acquisitions that could be brought into production as well. Vision, that's what we want to accomplish over the next 3 to 5 years. Having a permitted site already puts us at a great advantage in being able to build a mill in the relative short term without having long delays due to permitting we think really puts us in an advantageous position, especially coming into a very strong metal market.
Well, it sounds very encouraging, and I hope you'll come back and give us an update in the future, because I think people will be watching saying, okay, you have all the essential components in place to continue to move forward and meet the needs of these markets, especially in copper and nickel. So
I look forward to doing that, Stuart.
Okay, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.